Okay, so first here, we already have this a little familiar, but this is a strumming pattern in 4/4. So most popular music, this is also called common time, most popular music is counted in 4 beats. So we count that as 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Siempre la música común, popular, si escuchas en la radio, siempre va a ir 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is represented up here on the top left. So we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then at the bottom we have the capital B. Aquí tenemos en mayúscula D. So what that means is that on those 1, 2, 3, 4s, those are when we're strumming down 1, 2, 3, 4. So to kind of have a chord that we can work on, I have also attached this in this email, but just in case, so we have something to work with, para esto lo he puesto en el correo de acordes. Los otros videos explican un poquito más, but let's focus on this E minor 7 just to get started. Vamos a enfocarnos en este E menor 7 para empezar. Entonces, ¿cómo hacemos ese acorde? How we do that chord is that we're going to place our middle finger on the 2nd fret. So these are frets, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 2nd fret on the 5th string. El segundo traste en el quinta cuerda. Entonces aquí va a estar. Entonces la sexta es la que está siempre más cerca a nosotros y 5 es aquí. So we are just having that chord there. And it should sound like this. So none of your other hands are touching the other strings. Ninguna de tus otras manos están tocando las cuerdas de acá. And this is just to have something so that we can strum on this side. Es algo nomás, un acorde para que tengamos, para que practiquemos el enfoque de hoy día que es esto. Alrighty, so any questions on just having that one index finger there and strumming? Algunas preguntas sobre ese dedo que está aquí y para poner así. Okay. So quick reminder for everybody. Awesome. Okay. So we have that 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we can go and say 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we want to have that nice quick. Because if we go slow, it's kind of gets mixed up a little bit. Se mezcla todo si vamos muy lento. Entonces tenemos siempre un así rápido. And again, I'm strumming kind of with the side of my thumb. Lo estoy tocando con solo el costado de mi dedo ahorita. Okay, entonces that is just the number 1 all down strums. And then at the second one, we have the 1 and then and. So what that and means, it's the up strum or the U. So this plus indicates and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and these capital U's are the up strums. So those up strums, esos rasgueos arriba, are still with the side of your thumb, like that. And remember, when we're doing kind of the up, we aren't doing all the chords. We're only doing the first 3 strings. Cuando estamos rasgueando hacia arriba, solo estamos haciendo los primeros 3. We do this because it gives us a nice little 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Hacemos eso porque nos da un poquito de aire solo hacer estos, o si no va a sonar como todo un poquito mezclado. So that's why we do that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 3, and 4, and again, I'm still just having this finger there. Okay, so let's go to number 3. Vamos al número 3. And we can see that it's a combination of the first one and the second one, where we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Entonces tenemos ahí el número 3, la combinación del 1 y el 2, donde va 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1 y 2 y 3 y 4 y 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 y 2 y 3 y 4 y. So how that sounds would be 1. We still say that and, or else we'll speed up or go too slow. So siempre decimos el y, o si no vamos a ir muy rápido o muy lento. And even if we aren't playing the ups, we still want to have our fingers go up and down. So I'm not playing the ands, but I'm still going up with my thumb. So I'm still keeping that constant motion of your finger. Aunque no estoy tocando los de arriba en la primera parte, sigue el constante movimiento de la mano. And this is where we're going to learn to start keeping our hand kind of loose, because this is kind of the important part of a lot of strumming, that we just have that loosey hand right there. Y por eso queremos tener nuestra mano un poquito suelta, porque es el movimiento que queremos natural de la mano. So we have that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Alrighty. Any questions? ¿Alguna pregunta en the first 3 o en los primeros 3? ¿Estamos yendo todos bien? Everybody doing okay so far? Alrighty. So, let's keep going. And I want to show you particularly, let's go down to this one. Vamos a ver este número 5. We'll take a look at number 5. So this is where there's things called emphasis. Hay esas cosas que tenemos que ser un poquito más fuerte en algunas partes. So in this particular one, we can see there's a capital D, and then the rest are lowercase. So what that means is that we're really going to focus on hitting that 1 hard, like 1 and 2, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Realmente dar esa énfasis en 1, 1 y 2 y 3 y 4. So that it does give it a little bit more humph in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 4 and. So if we keep going down, si seguimos yendo abajo, to number 7, número 7, tenemos el Latin strum. We have the Latin strum. So this is kind of where a lot of things start to mix and make a little bit more sense. So we have that first 1 and 2 and. So this is the first time where we don't have the 3 down. So es la primera vez en el número 7 donde no tenemos que ir abajo en el 3. Entonces es un poquito difícil en el comienzo querer, como ya estamos acostumbrados a ir down, 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 que no querer tocar algo yendo abajo. So if we do that slowly, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 3, and 4. At least in the beginning, it doesn't sound like too much. Aunque sea en el comienzo no suena como mucho. But if we start speeding it up, then it starts to take shape. Y si vamos un poquito más rápido, ya empieza a tomar un poquito de forma. So for example, if we go a little faster, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 so on. At this point, any questions? ¿Algunas preguntas en estos? So these are really good to get started and practicing a lot of different movements. Es un buen comienzo a hacer todos y ahí empiezas a controlar, a aprender cómo controlar mejor el movimiento de tus manos. So that's really good because then you start learning about how you can take control of the right hand a little bit more, and that's something that kind of gets left out a little bit. Preguntas, questions? So far, so good. Todo bien para ahorita. Alrighty. So, we can't just stay on one chord the whole time. No podemos quedarnos en un acorde por todo el tiempo. So let's go. This is the first link that I sent. Es el primer link que envié. And it talks a little bit about tips that we already heard. Ya tienen consejos, keep your grip loose, que la mano esté flojada. Never stop moving your strumming hand. Nunca dejes de mover tu mano que está haciendo. Y don't always hit, like we said, there's some times where we have to not hit the strings. Hay unas partes donde no hay que tocar las cuerdas. Alrighty. So yeah, we already practiced this 1, 2, 3, 4. So ahí tenemos eso, pero we have that 1, 2, 3, 4. But I particularly like this website because it gives you a song that has that just down, 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 down. Me gusta mucho esta página porque tiene una canción que practica solo ese 1, 2, 3, 4. And it also gives you the chord progression. Y también te da el proceso del acorde. So this one's a little tricky because all of these are bar chords. So they're not going to be the simplest things to start off in the beginning. Esta canción en particular no va a ser lo más fácil para empezar, pero es un ejemplo de cómo pueden sonar básico el bajo, 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 bajo. So a couple of things to point out is this 4-4. So that's the one that we've been practicing. So how we count this, it's always going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And siempre vamos a contarlo, como ya hemos practicado el 4-4, sabemos que así se tiene que contar. 1, 2, 3, 4. In this particular case, we have this little divider here. I think it shows up too in other songs. Tenemos este dividor aquí. So what this means is that we have to split that 4 into 2, 2. Tenemos que dividir ese 4 entre 2, 2. So we play this chord 1, 2, 3, 4, F minor 1, 2, and then E flat 1, 2. So I'll just do that real quick so that you can, I'll do it with different chords so you can kind of hear how different counts are. Voy a hacer eso con diferentes acordes para ver cómo se suena ese 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me highlight my video. Porque the point of it is that we aren't staying in one chord for that long. We always have to switch. A lot of songs switch between chords and strumming right there. Entonces, siempre no nos quedamos solo en un acorde todo el tiempo. Es sobre los cambios. Con ese, después del 4, después del 2, tenemos que cambiar al otro. So for example, I have that E minor, just E minor 7, and then this can just be a G. So, and then I'll do the D. And so I'll do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3, 4, 1, 2. So the point of moving between these chords is to do that smooth transition. Always. Siempre es la transición entre acordes sin ningún, without any of these in between it. Since we're here in full view, si ya que estamos aquí en pantalla grande, let me talk. I haven't talked actually about picks, so let me talk about picks real quick. No he hablado sobre estas picks, pulgas, antes en mis videos. So a pick substitutes our fingers for strumming. Un pick así sustituye nuestras manos para hacer rasgueos. Entonces un pick así se ve. A pick looks like this, and it comes in different sizes. So the thicker, the harder it is. And si es más grueso, lo más duro que va a sonar. So in terms of kind of for acoustic guitars, we want to stay with something that's medium or light. Y si queremos utilizar como una pulga así, queremos algo más que se llama light o mediano. Anything bigger than that is for bass guitar or other bigger instruments. Otros pulgas así más gruesas son más como para bajos que tienen cuerdas más gruesas o instrumentos similares. So if you have a pick, we can have it and hold it here kind of like a fist. And you can kind of see that it substitutes my index finger. Casi sustituye mi dedo índice acá atrás. But it's only this little thing, this little part that's playing. Entonces, esto es el único que está tocando las cuerdas. So we can practice our 1, 2, 3, 4 with a pick. And we can see that it's louder. It can be a lot louder sounds. Podemos ver que utilizando eso hace que realmente sea más fuerte el sonido. So if we have that E minor 7, we can go and say 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can do the other ones that we're practicing also with the pick. También podemos hacer las otras, lo que estás haciendo así con esto. So, for example, the Latin strum would be 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so this is the Latin strum with a pick. And you can see that still with the up, I'm not hitting all the strings. También cuando voy arriba no estoy tocando todas las cuerdas. So, para que sea más bonito el sonido de ir arriba. So that's why I'm also hitting just this, because it's such a nicer sound than just hitting all the strings. But if you want to hit all the strings, you can too, and just be a little bit more intense. Siempre puedes hacer todos parejos para que sea más fuerte el sonido. Alrighty. Another technique too, without a pick, is a chunk or a rasgueo. So this is another technique that we can use called a chunk or rasgueo in Spanish. So this particularly works better with nylon strings. Funciona un poquito mejor con las cuerdas medias plastiquitas y no mucho de metales. Oh, it still works though with metal strings, but the sound of the chunk sounds a lot better with nylon strings. So how we do this little chunk is that we are kind of brushing over our index finger like that, and then stopping it with the palm. Entonces estamos haciendo así con nuestro dedo índice y rápidamente bloqueando con nuestra palma. So we're quickly stopping it with the palm of our hand. So you can go slowly, like a movement there. And that just stops. So how that kind of sound works is that you have this ringing, but it quickly stops. So it's like a super quick. Cómo funciona eso es que lo estamos empezando a vibrar las cuerdas, pero lo paramos muy rápidamente. We can also use all of our fingers and not just the index fingers. También podemos utilizar si queremos todos nuestros dedos. So we would start off with the pinky and then kind of slide through like that. Entonces empezamos con el pinky y después va los otros dedos que siguen. And es como abriendo tu palma. It's like opening your palm. And we can substitute a bunch of our ups or the other ones with those chicks or chunks. So we can be one and two, and one and two, and one and two, and one and two. So you get a little bit more, a little taste of the Latin music rhythms. Un poquito de ya sabor latino así. The little. And just make sure that all your hands are running. Even just this is a sound. And don't be afraid to really go at it. No tenga miedo de realmente darle. Because that's the kind of the percussion side that we can make with the instrument. Any questions on the chunk or the rasgueo? So again, we're going kind of our fingers and then stopping it with the palm of our hand. Again, for only kind of a lighter sound, the index finger. For a fuller sound, the whole hand. Para un sonido más delicado, solo un dedo. Para más fuerte, todos los dedos. Ready? I don't see any questions. No veo ninguna preguntas. So let's keep chugging along. So continuar. Let me see. Check something real quick. Just a second. I'm going to get one worksheet up here in the computer. Un segundo, voy a poner un papel que hemos practicado aquí. So this is a good time for more questions if you have any questions. Es un buen tiempo para si tienen preguntas. Mientras abro aquí. See. Be just 1 second. Here we go. Alrighty, so what I'm gonna share, lo que voy a compartir is, it's more for ukulele, but a lot of the strumming for a lot of string instruments works the same way, just because it's the same type of style and strumming pattern. Lo que voy a compartir es más para ukulele, pero el tipo de rasgueo funciona para todo tipo de instrumento así de guitarra. So I'm gonna also put this in the chat. También lo voy a poner eso en el chat porque no lo envié. I'm sharing this because there also you can hear the strumming patterns. He puestos porque también te da ejemplos de rasgueos. So if we go down to this one here, this is the one kind of that I've been working on and teaching. Si vemos aquí el número 6, es lo que estamos haciendo ya. So we can see that D, down, up, rasgueo or chunk, and then up. So let me see if you can hear this real quick. It'll sound lighter because it's a ukulele. Va a sonar como un ukulele, pero te da el mismo sentido de cómo tiene que sonar. Down, up, chunk. And it's a little too fast. A veces un poquito rápido, pero ya les puedo enseñar aquí un poquito más lento. So I can show you a little bit slower there. Oh, it's only playing my headphones. Thank you, Allison. Let's see if I can. Hay que ver si puedo que les escuche aquí. Let me see if I can fix my audio. Actually, it's okay. Because we have that, está bien porque we have that down, up, chunk, up. Down, up, chunk, up. So we have, again, our chord that we're doing, that E minor 7. And we're gonna go down, up, chunk. And then as soon as we go down, we kind of have our index or thumb ready to go up. Ya tenemos cuando vamos down, up, el chunk. And we have, tenemos nuestro pulgar ya listo para ir arriba. Down, up, chunk, up, down, up, chunk, down, up, chunk, up, down, up. So it takes a little bit of practice. So I'll go a little bit slower than that. Voy a hacerlo un poquito más lento. Down, up, chunk, up, down, up, chunk, up, down, up, chunk, down, up, down, down, up, chunk, up, down, up, chunk, up, down, up, chunk, up. So this side that you will be able to hear it is good for those. I think that's the only example. Oh, acá hay otro ejemplo aquí. There's another example at number 6. So let me share that one. Number 6 here. So we have, tenemos este down, down, up, chunk, down, up, down, chunk, up. So we have these kind of chunks where the second down is, and then the fourth down is. Entonces tenemos estos chunks ahí donde tiene que estar el 2 y el 4. So how we count this is, como contamos esto es 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and let me go zoom in a little bit more. There we go. It's number 7. There we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so we always siempre tenemos esos always counted as 1, 2, 3, 4. Siempre contamos el 1, 2, 3, 4. Solo cuando vamos abajo, nunca arriba. We always count those numbers going down, never up. Those ups are always ands. So how we do this, very slowly, como hacemos es muy lento, es 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and alrighty. Algunas preguntas, any questions on anything that we covered so far? Unas preguntas ahorita, or are we doing okay so far? Alrighty, me gustan los thumbs up, like the thumbs up. Okay, so let's keep going. So I want to point out this site. Otra vez quiero mostrar esta página porque te dice cómo contar y las canciones otra vez, su progresión de canciones. Because I like this one too, because it shows you the countings and gives you exposure to new songs you might not know. Let's see. So for example, we have this, I think I like this one here. Where is it? Me gusta este aquí. Porque es un poquito tricky. This one's a little tricky too, because we have that for this song. Wonder why it's not letting me play songs through here. Well, give me a thumbs up if you can hear this. No? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, and I don't understand why. Oh, there we go. Okay, we fixed the problem. Alrighty, so let's go with kind of hearing this song together. Vamos a escuchar esta canción juntos. So it's still that 4/4 here, G, C, E minor, C. So we have this 4/4 where we count the G as 1, 2, 3, 4. C, 1, 2, 3, 4. E minor, 1, 2, 3, 4. But once we get to this C, ya que llegamos a esta C, this is a 2/4. So we only count that as the number up top here. So that's just 1, 2. So how everything, como contamos todo eso, would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's hear the song together, and I'll put my mouse when it jumps in it. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. Sneakily, they only do that in the beginning because then at the chorus, at the verse, they switch it to the normal 1, 2, 3. Parece que solo hacen eso en el comienzo y después se pone normal el 1, 2, 3, 4 en los versos. So that's a great example there too. Let's play this one now that it works, so you can hear also the 1, 2, 3, 4s in this song. Vamos a tocar este también para escuchar el 1, 2, 3 que va. 1, 2, 3, 4 que va. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
My days are heavy with intent.
2, 1, 2.
But a fear as numbs my soul.
2, 3, So you can see even with just down, 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 it still sounds cool and it still sounds pretty. Todavía, aunque solo estamos yendo down, down, it's still pretty and nice. So don't be intimidated by the simplicity of strummings too. No seas intimidado por la simplicidad, porque a veces es algo muy bonito. So let's keep going down. Sure, we'll do, this one is a little quickie, a quick one. Este es un poquito más rápido, but it's in 4/4 here too. So this is, let's hear this one more example. I'll be very quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Your lipstick stains on the front lobe of my left side brain. I knew I wouldn't forget you, and so I went in.
And so on. So let's use this as an example with our at least own guitar. You can do that if you know E, you can get started with that E. And so let's go up, vamos a ir arriba y ver cuál es ese, let's see what that strumming pattern is. So for that particular two songs, including the train song, is that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So if we were to play along with those chords, y vamos a hacer la canción juntas. So we have that E, that B, which is a little tricky, that C minor. So this is, you should look at the other videos. Think de los otros videos cómo hacer acordes. Y and A there. So 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 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 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's the point. The point is that smooth transition between one chord into another without losing the rhythm. Ese es el punto, moverse de un acorde al otro acorde sin perder el ritmo de lo que estás haciendo acá abajo. So that's the point of it, just having that constant. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 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 3 and 4 and you'll get tired of saying 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and very quickly, but this is good because we're learning how to discipline ourselves in counting. And I like that they have a list of kind of more difficult songs because it pushes us to keep up with what we can hear and practice on. Let's see. Algunas preguntas, any questions? Alrighty, so no questions. So I'll just kind of point out this one, just because this one again is another tricky song, the Hey Ya song by Outkast. Esto también quiero decir porque es un poquito, tiene su truco aquí también. So how we count this one is we have that 4/4 for 1, 2, 3, and then we have just 2 bars of D, and then we go into 2 full bars of E. So ¿cómo va a sonar eso? Que va completamente, se cuenta 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, pero cuando llegamos aquí, we count it as, cuando contamos como 1, 2, y va otra vez aquí a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's go up here, and it's the same one here. Y solo the difference between this one and the last one, la diferencia entre este y el otro, es que no vamos a tocar, we're not going to play that down 3. So if we have G as an example again, just a G with the song, we have that as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And look at that. That's Latin strum. It's perfecto. It's the same Latin strum. So we have that again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what I just did is good too. Lo que acabo de hacer es bueno también. Is if I miss the train, I can hop back on the next one. Si me perdí el tren de esa parte, me puedo regresar y no concentrarme mucho. I would rather concentrate on still keeping that 1, 2, 3, 4, and then get back. Y después regresar de eso. So let's go into that Hey Ya song here at the bottom. So we count that as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 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 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So to the beat of the song, el ritmo de la canción es. And so on. Of course, the important part is to do it right in the beginning and not fast. So you always want to make sure that your notes sound bright. There's no this, because that's the important part in the beginning. Lo más importante es que las notas sean lentas al comienzo, porque eso es lo más importante. No queremos nada de esto. Y después ya puede venir la velocidad. It can also be a slow acoustic ballad, too, if you go a little slow. Puede ser una balada acústica si vas un poquito más lento también. And it really does change the song if we decide to speed up and slow down. So you can have your own interpretations with the speed. Puedes tener tus propias interpretaciones con la rapidez de eso. Ready? We have a couple more songs. Is there anything else I'm missing? Hay lo que estoy faltando. See. Oh, yes. So back to regresando al pick. There's another technique too. Hay otra técnica que pueden hacer que se llama muting. It's another technique that we call muting, where we have this side of our hand kind of covering the strings here. Tenemos esto ahí cubriendo. So once we play something like that, you can also do it with your thumb, but this gives you a little bit more control. Tenemos un poquito más de control así. So it gives you that little. So if we do that E minor 7 or E minor 7, and then we go to G. So this is what a lot of more rock oriented is. You can hear that in heavy metal, alternative rock. Pueden escuchar eso mucho en metal y música alternativa. That. So that E minor and then G. And that little combination between letting go to have a rougher sound there. Esa combinación de hacer así y después dejar la palma para que suene. Alrighty. Let me take a look at my notes real quick and see if I missed anything for today. I think we're good. He visto mis notas y parece que eso es lo que tenemos por hoy día. So I'll leave these 8 minutes for questions. If you have any. Estos 8 minutos para preguntas. Let me see if I can find anything else. Si puedo encontrar algo más. Alrighty. So once again, all this is recorded and it will be available on our YouTube page in about a week or so. Todo esto lo que estamos haciendo está grabado para nuestra página de YouTube y va a estar disponible la siguiente semana. What is cannot mute? Oh, let me see. Let me, yes, to unmute. Did you get a little button there? Alrighty. I can hear you now.
Cool. Yeah, I was not able to unmute earlier.
No worries. What is your question?
No question. I just need to work on my chords.
Oh, yes. So to work on chords, you don't have to even strum, at least in this. Just practice on the motions of, and you can even see that when even with going from my G, there's already some, not a lot of, like in the beginning I see people kind of jump a lot. There's not a lot of movement. You want to reduce the amount of movement between the chords with your hands as general, just because you don't want to overwork what doesn't need to be overworked.
And how hard do you press?
Not that hard. You can play around with hitting, and you can start to let go of your fingers until you find that kind of sweet spot. But if you haven't played for a long time, it will still hurt because you don't have any calluses built up. But always kind of play around with letting go your fingers a little bit, because you might realize that you don't need to press it that hard.
For beginners, do you recommend nylon or steel?
Nylon, just because the steel will hurt your hands a lot more than the nylon will.
Got it.
Solo para, I'll just reiterate in Spanish real quick. Cuando estamos practicando los acordes, intenta dejar la presión. Se puede dejar poco a poco, porque a veces realizamos que no tenemos que ser tan duros con la guitarra para obtener ese sonido. Y está diciendo para recomendar para principiantes cuerdas o guitarras de nylon, porque son más fáciles para agarrar que metales. Pero si tienen una guitarra de metales, está bien también. Also, another thing, nylon guitars are built for nylon strings. You can't put metal strings on a nylon guitar, or else it will break the guitar. So, no puedes intercambiar cuerdas de plástico a metales, porque no va a funcionar y se va a malograr la guitarra. Well, thank you for your question. Sí. Any questions? Algunas preguntas? One thing that I do want to point out, you have my email. So if you have questions anytime about anything, I usually have a YouTube video or a website to recommend to work on something. Because there's a lot of people out there that already do amazing lessons on YouTube, because that's how I'm self-taught too as a musician. So I've been teaching myself via the internet for 10 plus years. So all this skill is a little bit of help from people, but a lot of it in the beginning came from the internet. Solo quiere decir que tienen mi correo electrónico y si tienen alguna pregunta sobre canciones o quiero practicar esta técnica, hay realmente bastantes videos en YouTube que son muy buenos y yo mismo me enseñé a tocar hace 10 años casi todo con el internet. Entonces hay muchos recursos disponibles en el internet. Alrighty. Last burning questions before we close up for the month of August. And I hope everybody's safe, and I hope all your families are safe too during this time. Esperemos también que sus familias, sus queridos estén salvos en estos tiempos. Alrighty. Well, I want to thank everybody. I hope everybody learned something new today to practice. As always, these sessions are for months and themes to practice for months to come because we can only get faster and better when we slowly practice and get a little bit better. Como siempre, esto siempre es para aprender sobre muchos meses y técnicas. Esta hora te puede durar muchos meses. Alrighty. Thank you, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Bye.